Hi, in this tutorial I'm gonna demonstrate to you on how the Django translation works and how to make a multilingual website. So right now I'm assuming that you know the basics of Django. It's gonna help a lot, but if you are just wondering how translation works in Django, it's gonna be fine. I'm gonna go through using examples, so I think you should be okay. I'm gonna explain a little bit, but not everything that I'm doing. So I'm assuming you know some Django. So I'm using PyCharm. I really like it. I'm just gonna hit new project and hit Django template, and let's just call it translation tutorial. I'm using Conda environment. It's a personal choice, I like it, so let's hit create. And we wait PyCharm to do its stuff. So PyCharm is done. Before doing any stuff, let me just make my fonts a little bigger. Yep, I think this should be okay. And if you are using PyCharm and using Django template, it will create a templates directory for you. Actually, this comes from here, this line of code. It basically makes the app directories some kind of easier. Instead of going through your app slash template slash your app slash your template.html, you just put it right here, and let's say we have index.html and it goes, we just call index.html. We don't need to go through our app, and we can go through our app as long as this statement is true. So it's not gonna make that much difference. So first things first, in Django, let's just run it. And it ran, it made our database. Let's go through, and it says it's working good. Let's create our app, python manage.py start app core. I'm calling it core. You can do whatever you want. Inside of core, as you can see, we have our files. I'm gonna separate the app URLs from the project URL. So let me just create a URL file here and say from django.urls import path. Let's just create our URL patterns right now. Let's say path, our blank URL, it points to views.index, and we give it index name. And actually, let's import our views. So we say from dot import views. So our views are imported. Before making the index views, let's go to our project URLs, and this is a project URL. We did not generate it generated itself, and we did not created it. So just where the Django URLs is, I'm gonna import include alongside the path, and write path blank URL. We include the core.urls, which we just created right now, and that should do. Let's go to our views, and let me get rid of this line and create our index function, pass in the request, return render request index.html, and we give a context an empty context dictionary. So I think all of this stuff I've done here, I know it was pretty fast, but it's just basic Django stuff. So it's not gonna work because we don't have index.html yet. Let's create that and call it index. And for demonstration purposes, let's just actually first try this one out. let's say hello world, and let's refresh this. Yep, as you can see, hello world is here. Let me make this a little bit bigger. I'm going to use Bootstrap to style all of this out. If you don't want to see it, timestamps are down below. Skip to wherever you want. This styling, I'm just gonna do it because it makes the demonstration a lot better for you to understand. So let's go to the Bootstrap website and the documents. Well, yep, this is the one. I'm just gonna copy it and create another. Let me just close this console. Let's create another HTML file and call it base and get rid of everything here and paste what we just copied. So let me just indent this. And in here, I wanna add some blocks. So for our title, I'm just gonna say block title, and we hit end block. And under our body tag, let's get rid of this and add the content block. Let's do end block, and we should be good for the Bootstrap part here for our base.html. Let's add a navbar. So in here, let's just insert another HTML file and call it navbar.html. I'm just gonna get rid of all of this, and I think it was here. Let me check. Yep, here navbar. And which one should we pick? This one seems good. Let's just copy it and paste it and indent it to more Python-y way, and let's add a header tag as well. Oh, whoops. And we should be good. Let me actually indent it once again. And we actually have to include it, so I'm gonna do include and navbar.html. As you can see how this template directory was, I'm just gonna pointing to them directly, I'm not making another template directory under my core, which is good for a smaller project. But if you are doing large projects, I'm suggesting doing this for base templates and separating each one of your apps inside of them. It would be really cleaner. So let's just go back to our index.html and get rid of this and say extends base.html, and we should be good. Actually, before doing it, nope, we are good. PyCharm already downloaded the Bootstrap stuff, so it would make suggestion for us. Let's do our block content. So we could put our template inside our body tag and write end block. So in here, let me just create a div, give it a container class. That's correct. I don't know why it's not suggesting. And do and h1 tag hello world. I think we did everything right. Yep, that's our navbar and this is our hello world. Let me just make this a little smaller. So that's it. I'm not gonna push it further than this. So I'm gonna go to my models, and in here I'm just gonna create a symbol model, call it post. I'm just gonna do it with posts. I think it's the best class that I can make for demonstration of this tutorial, and it inherits from models.model. Let's give it a title, models.garfield, and give it the max length of 50. And for the content of the post, we say models.textfield. And let's do a date as well. Call it created equals to models dot date time field, and let's set auto now add to true. So it should add the current dates automatically instead of us putting the created date manually. Let's just do an ordering right off the bat. We say class meta and ordering equals to, I'm gonna do it with a tuple minus created, and since it's a tuple it needs a comma. And let's do the under_str method for our post to return its title. So we see the post's title inside of our admin panel instead of viewing its ID. We should be good till now. Before that, let's go to our admin, get rid of this line, from .models import our newly created post model, and say admin.site.register post. And before running everything, I'm just gonna make migrations. No changes detected. Why? Let me see. Let me go to the setting. I think I haven't put the app inside of our installed apps. Rookie mistakes. Right now, yep, it created, and let's migrate. Manage.py migrate. So our database is complete, and this website works. If we go to the admin panel, actually before that, let's create a super user. Python manage.py super user, create super user. So create super user. Username admin, email something random, password just 123123. Password is insecure, we don't care. And yep, that's it. Let's go in. As you can see, the post is here. Let's create some posts. Call this post 1. This is the content of the first post, and this another post 2. This is the content of the second post. So we have our dummy post. Let's go back to our bootstrap card section. Let's pick up. I think this is good. Yeah, I'm just gonna copy this and go to our views. I don't know why I came here. Let's go to our index, and in here let's get rid of this and paste the card in here and see how does it look. So let's make some indent spacings, and let's go here. It looks all right, I guess. We have the we don't need these two, so let's just get rid of them. And also this dummy text here, and this one as well. So let's get back to our views. In here I'm gonna import our post model from .models import post, and in here I'm just gonna assign a post variables and refer it to post.objects.all. we are not gonna do search and filtering stuff here, so I'm just calling all of them. Let's add it to our context dictionary and get back to our index, and in here let me do for post in posts, and right down here let's just call it end 4. Let me fix the indentation. So we should have 2 cards right now, but they are empty. Let's add the card title, post dot title, and in here we say post dot created times, actually let me just put it just empty like that, and in here we say post dot content. Let's refresh, and as you can see it's showing perfectly. And with the thing we did with the class meta minus ordering, as you can see post 2 comes first and post first comes second, because we want the most recent created post to be the first. So if you want to change the time, how the time shows, there's a method. If you do this sign, I don't know what it's called, and type time since, it would just say 3 minutes. It means 3 minutes ago we created this, so let's just add ago as well. I think this is perfect. And let's get to the translation. Right now I know I just created all of this pretty fast because it was not the purpose of the tutorial, but if a beginner wants to watch this, I think he gets the idea. So from now on I'm just gonna go pretty much slower and explain everything about translation step by step. So how Django internationalization works. If we come to our settings, let me just get rid of all of these windows. Down here you can see we have a language code, time zone. As you can see, it's under the internationalization comment. We have language code, time zone, use I18N and use TZ, which stands for time zone. But what is this? It's basically the Django internationalization, and it has to be set to true if we want to make our website bilingual or multilingual. And there is another one called, let me use _L10N. It's this one is called localization, but you can do a lot of modifications on it. Basically the I18N is for developers, L10N is for translators, which we can set it to true, but we don't need this. So these two, if they are set to true, which are by default, I think that's good. And before going further, I need to show you I need to make sure that you have gettext installed on your machine. Linux machines, most of them have it installed by default, but in Windows you have to do the research by yourself and install it. In Mac, I think it's pretty straightforward. You just type brew install gettext. Since I'm in Linux, you can type literally sudo apt-get install gettext if you are on Debian based Linux. So as you can see, it's already installed. I did not install this manually, it was on my machine from the start. So what is gettext? We basically give the parts from our project a tag for translation, like in here, let's just say home. And when we are using gettext, where we call the translation tags, these tags will later get saved into a django.po file in the project local folder. In there, we get to translate our specific tag to our desired text, like just home in English and like khane in Persian, and those tags we save them under the .po file, and then we compile the .po file and make it a .mo file. And Django will actually come after this .mo file and then read from it, and it will show our compiled messages inside the .mo file, and that's what basically the gettext does. So enough with the theory, let's just get right back into our coding, and let's get started implementing it on our project. I'm just gonna import the gettext from Django itself, so we are just gonna type from django.utils.translation import gettext. Gettext will do the work, but if you are looking for global scope translation on your project, you will get errors because it cannot do circular imports, and if you have a tag that I think is the same with another tag, it would throw you an error. So instead of this, we are just gonna use gettext_lazy. And since we are not gonna type gettext_lazy because it's too long and we are gonna use it a lot of times, I'm just gonna create a shortcut for it for underscore. You feel free to use any shortcuts as you want. I'm just gonna use underscore. Let's get down here just where our language code is. I'm gonna change it from en-us to just en, and I'm gonna specify some more languages. Basically, language code stands for the default language of your website. Like if you go to your browser and type localhost 8000, which I think, yep, we have an error, so never mind that. If we go to localhost on 8000 port, the first web page that comes up is the code as you specified here. In my case, the language code is en, so it would redirect me to /en, which we have not implemented yet because it's a URL pattern thing. It's a URL pattern thing, so I'm just gonna implement it later. So for now, let's do our languages. We create a list, and inside of our list we create a tuple and write down our language here. We need en, which obviously we need, and gettext_lazy it, I guess it's the right word, and call it English. And let's do the second language. I'm gonna use Persian here because I know Persian, and let's call this Persian. So as you can see, we called the gettext_lazy under the English and under our Persian. So what will this do is it will create a .po file and get the English and Persian tags inside them, and after that we will write our translation inside of them, and then we will compile them to and transfer it from .po file to .mo file. I will show it to you how it's done. It's a little bit confusing on theory, but if you get a hold of it, it's pretty easy. So we have this. We actually need to specify our local path. Our local path is just like our static or media path. So what you are going to do, I think right under your static, or I guess you have media path right now, we just need to write local path and set it to it's gonna work if we say base dir / local, but I do not recommend this, so I'm just gonna do os.path dot join base tier and local. It has to be called local, keep in mind that. And let's go to our top, and we have imported OS, I guess. Did I import it? Yep. And that should be it. So actually we need to create the local path manually. So let me just create another directory, call it local, and inside of it we have to create the languages that we want to use it in our website manually as well. In my case I have English and Persian, so let me do directory en and another directory for Persian, which is Farsi, and its short form is fa. And yep, we are good to go. And if we do Django, you can do it using manage.py as well, but I like it doing with Django-admin command. So we, on our project directory, on our project path, we write Django-admin make messages, I misspelled that, messages. This would do if you hit enter, it would create your file, but I like doing --all to scan everything. So if we do it, as you can see, it says processing local en, processing local fa. And if we come here, as you can see, it's beneath every directory it created our django.po file. If you go inside of it, you see the English and Persian that we specified in our gettext pops up here. It has the ID, which ID stands for what we actually wrote inside of our gettext. So this stands for ID, and it has message string. So I'm just we are inside the English one, so I'm using English. I'm gonna make it with lowercase because it's going to change if there is a message string in here. It's gonna replace your message ID. So if I make it just a blank string, it would show your message ID, so, and that would be bad. So for demonstration purposes, I'm doing lowercase for you to see, and Persian for this. And inside our Farsi directory, I'm just gonna call English Englisi, and for Persian Farsi. So I guess you get the idea how does this work, but you can change your Django.po your .po files using editors such as poedit to make it a lot easier than just using hard code style like I'm doing right now. But it's not recommended to do it like this. You are gonna mess up somewhere, and it's gonna be pretty bad if you make a mistake. Later on, we are gonna use a library which we will make all of these message strings using the Django admin. I will show it to you later, but let's just compile all of these. .po files are not compiled. They are like an editor, like how are we creating our project right now, coding it. But if we compile them, let's just do it, and I'm gonna show what happens. Compile messages --all. Well, I think we don't need this. Yep, we do not need --. I don't know why I put it. As you can see, it created the django.mo file. Django will well, I'm not gonna open it. It's literally this compiled to that. Well, Django will come look out for django.mo files because they are the compiled, and it will read from them, not the .po files. And if you did any modifications to your .po file, you have to compile the messages again, which later on with the library we are using, it will do it automatically for you, so don't be worried about doing all of this manual work. So let me just head back to our settings and let's find the middleware sections. What did I do? Yep, it's here. So you are going to have to add another middleware in order for localization, or maybe we should say internationalization of your website to work. And this middleware has to be after the sessions middleware and before the common middleware, so it has to be right here. If it's after common middleware, it's gonna throw you an error, because if we activate localization, common middleware will search for an active language, and if our middleware has not been called before the common middleware, it will throw you an error. So let me just add it right here, django.middleware.local.local middleware, and we should be good to go. And as I was saying, for editing our .po and for editing our .po and compiling our .mo files, I'm going to introduce you a library called Rosetta, and I think we are just going to install it by typing pip install django-rosetta. I think that's that. Yep, that's it. Since it's a new app, we have to put it inside our install app as well. We just write down the Rosetta there. We have to go to our URLs, our project URLs, and in here we have to import our I18N for the internationalization of our website to work. So I'm just gonna do from django.conf.urls.i18n import i18n underscore patterns, and we just need to make our URL patterns from a list to a tuple. Actually not a tuple, sorry, just i18n patterns, and we just specify our path here. It's basically like a tuple. So in here I don't want to, I can import get lazy text here and change our admin URL, but I'm recommending to you for keeping your admin URL as it is, because it's just more, I don't know, headaches for you to do that. I'm including the Rosetta here. I'm just going to call the path for it Rosetta and do include rosetta.urls. Let's add the comma there and let me start it. Yep, we don't have any errors. As you can see, we have en now. So, and if I type fa, as you can see, actually our time changed to Farsi, as you can see here. But where does it come? It's not coming from the Rosetta. It's coming from our i18n patterns. So as you can, if we go to the raw website, it will redirect us automatically to /en, and if we actually go to admin, it will redirect us to /en/admin, and if I change it to fa, everything will turn Persian. So yep, that's pretty much it. And actually I wanted to show you the Rosetta stuff. As you can see, it has two sides, we made the Persian and English lowercase in our Django.py files, and if I change it to be uppercase right here, E and P, and if I compile messages again, do a refresh, as you can see it changes. And if I change it to Fa, as you can see everything turns Persian. In here we can, I'm just gonna, yep, this is just useless. Oops, we should we are no longer need to change everything from here. We are just gonna use the Rosetta stuff right here, and it's pretty good. I really like Rosetta, as it's if you have any blank translation, if it show you the progress. I will explain to you what fuzzy means. It's literally, Rosetta will detect some of your message IDs. If they are like each other or same as each other, it will mark them as fuzzy and use the last message string that you provided to replace it. Later on we will see what this is, and it's pretty annoying, but it is what it is. Show you on how actually this stuff works dynamically in our template. Right here, let's give this one a name. Actually, before that, we have to import the gettext from Django.utils.translation, import gettext underscore lazy, and let's just give it a name. We do underscore and say title. I think that's why it's throwing an error. Let me see. Oh, I did not make it as underscore. We should be good now. And this one, let's just call it content itself. We don't need to translate this, and I don't think we need to make migration. Maybe we need, let's see, Python manage.py make migration. Oh, I see, make migration. Oh, we need to actually Python manage.py migrate. And right now, if I refresh this, oh, actually I did not make messages. Django-admin make messages -all. And if I refresh this, as you can see, progress is now 50% instead of 100. So we are in our English tab. We just, for title, we say title and content, and we hit save, and progress went up to 100% again. And for our Persian, I'm just calling this teach, and for content, I'm calling this badane. So let's save this, and if right now I go to my admin panel, in here, let's go in one of these, it's title, content. As you can see, they are uppercase. I think Django made them uppercase, but if I go to fa/admin, it says teach and badane as we specified them here. You might not know my language, but I guess you get the idea. Here it changed. If I just remove this and hit it save and refresh it, it will turn itself back to the message ID, which is title and content. And where does the message ID come? It's just these two, title and content. So let me just give their names back, and if we refresh this, it would change as well. So let's get back to the English version of website, because we all know English, why not? And let's start on translating our models, which can be a little bit challenging. So for translating our models, we are gonna use a library called Django Parler. Let's just install it. Let me clear this. We hit pip install Django-Parler. And we wait for it, and it's installed. And we actually need to add it. Oh, let me see, settings. We actually need to add it to our install apps, just like how we did with Rosetta. Let's just add it here. It's called Parler, just Parler. And we have to modify some settings for it. We have to add some settings for it, not modify. So I'm just gonna, right here, let's just say Parler languages, and it has to be a dictionary. And inside our dictionary, we have to say none. We have to specify none as a tuple of another dictionary, and in here we specify our languages. So we should say code and give it en value for English. And let me just copy this, and we should add another one for Farsi. And if you want to add more languages, just add another language, like copy this and add it here, and do the same in Parler languages as well. And don't forget to add the local directory for the language as well. So we are done here. Let's create another one and call it default. So in here we are gonna specify our default Parler language. We are just going to specify fallback to set into English, and it has to be inside of a list. There is another thing which is pretty optional, but I'm just gonna show it to you. It might be useful. It's called hide untranslated. As you can see, it will hide untranslated if in your Django.po file, if a message ID has no message string, it will not show it. So it's in default, I think it's set to false, but I'm just gonna put it here. If you want to hide your untranslated stuff, just set it to true. And we should be good for this part. And let's implement the Parler in our models. So if we go to our models, in here we have to import the Parler. So I'm just gonna say from parler.models import translatable models and translated fields. It's pretty straightforward. So instead of inheriting from models.model here, we are gonna inherit from translatable model, and in here we have to specify a variable, and we should call that variable to call our fields. I'm gonna show it how it's done. So I'm just gonna call the variable translations and set it to translated fields, and this has to be a tuple. So inside of this tuple, we actually need title and content. We don't need created. I suggest you to stick with what I'm doing right here. Don't put the time inside of your translated fields. It's pretty optional, but I do not recommend it. I know, like my own calendar is in Solar, but I don't use it because it's gonna, I don't know, it's confusing. Just stick to your default calendar. And let me just indent this. We should be good in here, but it's not gonna show us correctly in our admin panel. So what we should do now. In our admin script, we have to import the translatable admin from parler.admin. So we write from parler.admin import translatable admin. There are other libraries alongside Django Parler, but I do like the Parler. Parler and another one which I forgot its name are the most popular. Parler is actually the second most popular. The another one is the most popular, but I just like Parler. I don't know why, so bear with me. We just write translatable admin here, and I think we should be good. So let's just make our migration. Python manage.py make migrations, and if we try to migrate our changes, it will throw an error. Yep, as you can see, it says type error, translatable model blah blah does not appear to inherit from translatable model. This is a known issue. I think this is a Django issue, so there's nothing to do about it. We have to change something manually in our migration file. It's pretty easy, just in bases. If you have multiple models, like beside post you have blog and everything, and if you translated all of them together, you should, if let's say I have class post and class blog just like this in here, I have two classes right now. So in that case, I should have two bases. You have to modify both bases here. So the issue is from thing here, parler.models.translated field model mixin. It should not be that. It should be changed to translatable model. So right now, if I migrate, everything works correctly. So right now, let's go back to the post. I will change it, don't worry. It's because our string self.title method, it cannot find the self.title, so it's just giving us, I don't know, a dash here. But the post content is there. If I go to here, well, it's not there. I have to modify another stuff in our template as well. I'm going to show you. So what happens here? If I go here, as you can see, it has title. It has title and content for both Persian and English. So in here we say title 1, and actually you have to save it. Just, it's pretty annoying, but it is what it is. Content for first post, and we hit save. And our self.return title is okay. I guess I forgot to tell you that, but if you change your if you translate your models, it will delete everything, so keep that in mind. Content for first post, let's hit save for it, and it's just returning our .str correctly here. So PyCharm says unsolved reference, but it's just yes. Let's go to our Persian and say teach number 1, and here I'm just gonna for it called teacher شماره 1, and let's hit save. And if we go here, it says title 1, content for first title, and we change it to Farsi, it says teacher شماره 1. And I'm going to fix this to be completely to another language. Let's just get back to the English, and basically that's it. You can I don't know, modify it to whatever you like, but it's not that hard. It can get a little tricky, like using foreign keys. I'm going to explain to you how foreign keys work in a second. Let me just go back to my Actually, let me just turn all of this to 2 because it was the second title. We don't want to get confused here. And let me actually copy this. I'm pretty slow in typing in Persian. And let's see. Well, it's right here. We change that to 1, 1. And I know I changed it, but it's not here because the English field of it's not present. If I refresh this, it's not gonna show here, but if I do /fa, it's gonna show. And same thing goes for the admin panel as well. As you can see, both are here, but in the English version, it's not there. Let's create the English one as well. This is the first title content, and in here second, not seconds. And yep, we are good to go. That's how we do it for our models. Let me explain to you how the foreign key fields work. Let's create another class. Let's just call it class category. It will inherit from, again, translatable model. And in here we do the exact same thing. We say translations equals to translated fields, and in here we just gonna specify a character field. So models dot char field, and let's give it a max length of 50 as well. Let me just show you something that you can do with gettext. You can do everything with gettext. Like in here, let's just specify a verbose name for it. We call this category, and for verbose name plural, we specify categories. And let me just do the under str method as well. We say return self.name. It should work. And how do we connect this post to the category using obviously we are going to use foreign keys, but how can we do it using the translatable fields? So outside of our translations variable, just like how we are doing it using just like how we did it to our created variable, I'm just gonna specify a variable outside of our translations and translatable fields list. So I'm just gonna say category equals to models dot ForeignKey, and its parent class is category. And since, as you can see, we gave it a name here because the first attribute for title is the label for our variable, but in this case we should call it just by related name and give it a gettext lazy of category as well. So these two, as you can see, are identical, and it's not gonna duplicate in your Django Rosetta or Django.pov files. It will just be the same. It will just show one ID for you, and you will just modify that one. It's not gonna show you two of them. But I think it is going to make our categories one fuzzy because they do look kind of similar to each other. We will see. And let's just do another some foreign key stuff. Say on delete equals to models dots. I'm going to set null. Actually, yep, it's category. We have to put it to set null, not models dot cascade. And let's just say null equals to true. And I think that should be it. It would work it would work fine. Let me just make migrations again, and before actually migrate them, let's get down to our bases, and in here let me just change it to translatable model, so it would not throw us an error. Let's hit migrate and we are good, I guess. Let me just refresh this, and in here, as you can see, we have the category. So let's register, let's go to our admin and import our category model and register it on our website as well. So we are just gonna say category and do translatable admin attribute. And if I refresh it, as you can see, add or delete or modify just came over here. Let's just give it the name of, I don't know, a topic, fun, and I have to modify it to Persian, sargarmi as well. Why it did change to, yep, fun. Let's hit save, and yep, I think it's okay, it's good. Now let me just print, show our topic, show our category in our template as well. If I go to our index.html, in here I have to do, let's see, where should I put it? Let me just do a comma right here. We do post dot category dot name. I guess that should be it. Yep, we have fun here, and we don't have anything here because we didn't set anything for it, and null was equals to true, so it is not returning us an error. And if I turn this to Persian, it changes to sargarmi. So far so good, we are liking it. And let me add another category for our first post. So let me just add political. I actually have it here. Yep, for both. Actually, I had to save it. Political. Yep. We are good. Let's save it. Let's hit no, not here, here. Let's hit refresh, and political is here. Let's change it to Farsi, and it changes to Siyasi. And that's how we do it for our models. And actually, we specified some new translations in our models, such as the category, and we have not specified them. I don't know why I just close my admin. Let's get back. And as you can see in here, it's categories, and it's add category here. If I do it in Persian, it's not, both of them are not translated. So I actually didn't add verbose name for my posts. Let's just do it. I'm just gonna copy both of these lines here and paste it down here. Verbose name post. Let me just do it with lowercase p and posts. Let's see, posts. Okay, that's good. As of کردن post. Let's change it to English. So all of us can understand. And let's get back to our Rosetta and do some translations. Let me see. Oh, I did not make messages, so I'm just gonna do Django-admin make messages. Make messages -all, sorry. And the progress went down. And let's see if we have fuzzy. Oh, we do not have fuzzy. That's good. Basically, if one of them gets fuzzy, just untick them and translate it to the proper thing that you want. And if some variable is fuzzy, it's not gonna make your progress higher. Everything should not be fuzzy for your progress to climb up. So it's English. We do category with capital case and categories, posts, and I think we should be good. Yep, progress 100%. Let's do it for our Persian as well. What was the category in Persian? Well, I don't know my own mother language. Let's go here. دسته‌بندی. Yep. دسته‌بندی. And the plural one is دسته‌بندی‌ها. And post is actually post in Persian, so I'm just gonna write it post-ha. And that's it for our Persian part. And if I go here, it's not changed because we have not changed it. But if we go to Persian, as you can see, that's a bandia posta. If you could read Persian, I mean, but by, as you can see. So let's get back to our English. Everything is working. And for our next step, we are going to translate directly from our template. And actually translating stuff is a lot better than just putting hard-coded static stuff in your template, because later on you can change it with Rosetta, and it's a lot better if you have any typo, you don't come and change the HTML file. So yeah, let's just do it. Let me just create another div here, give it a container class as well, and in here I'm doing an h1 tag and saying hello. Oh, oops, let me do center as well. In here I'm just gonna say hello, welcome to our website. I don't think, because I'm using a bootstrap, I think if I just wrote text-center, everything should be good. But yep, so we have hello, welcome to our website here. Let's just call this the hero section of our website. Well, that being hard-coded like this, I do not like it personally. So right now I'm going to use a translation for it to change. In order to do that, we have to import i18n to our template. How we do that? How basically it's just like how we do load our static. For static, we just say load static, but in here we say load i18n. And that's it. The Django gonna know that you are translating this template, and it's gonna load everything from i18n. Let's just do the block for your translation is going to be like this. You just write trans and give it an ID. Like in here we say hero title. I guess that's a good name. And if we make the messages go back to our Django Rosetta. Progress goes down, which is a good sign. And oh, it got fuzzy. Let me go to the English version so you can understand. So hero title was a lot like this title here, and it made it fuzzy. So when something gets fuzzy, it will ruin the thing. As you can see, there's hero title here for en. Actually, we have not compiled it yet. If we save it, it's gonna compile. So if you see any fuzzy ticks, just untick it and write down everything by yourself. So what was our hero title? Hello, welcome to our website. Let's hit save, and if we refresh, it changes to hello, welcome to our website. So that's basically it, how you change the language of your template. And let's do the same thing for the Persian version. Salam به وبسایت ما خوش آمدید. Let's hit save, and if I change it to Persian, it will change to Persian as well. So that's basically it. You get the idea. Another method of doing it is by using the block trans method and end block transing it, and just writing down some this one's not that widely used. I don't use it that much personally myself, but it allows you to mark content that includes literals and variables. So you get the idea. I'm just gonna delete this, and you can translate as like that, but as I said, just use this, give it a small ID, and you're good to go. For the tutorial purposes, I'm just going to translate my navbar. You can skip if you want. So for every template that you are going to translate something inside of it, you have to load the i18n tag always. In here we have our navbar, which refers to, let's say, URL, index, and let's just do trans and call it navbar. I'm gonna get rid of some of this, and let me just translate it to trans. Let's give it an ID of navbar home, and translate this one to navbar features, and that should be it. Let's just make messages and translate them. Navbar, actually let's just give it my site home features, and we don't have anything on the second page. And in here we do the same for Persian. Site man khane, and for features we say imkanat. Let's save it, and let's see. Yep, my site home features, and we change it to Persian, and the same thing happens. Actually, the Persian language is right to left, but the English language is left to right. My solution to this, if you are dealing with kind of, I don't know, not just Persian, Arabic language, and which are and any language that are left to right, you can just do this. Come to your base.html, and here in specifying directory, just do trans and give it dir. That stands for direction. And before doing that, let's just load our i18n tag. And don't get the wrong idea. If you are loading i18n tag and you think that will work in another template, so like here in our navbar, maybe you got the idea that we did not need to load i18n tag because we could just load it in our base.html and use it on everywhere, but it's not gonna work. You have to load i18n tag in whatever template that you are translating inside of it. So right now we have we've specified that. Let's make messages, and in our Rosetta, let's the direction for English is left to right, and for the Persian, I'm just gonna right to left, and it's HTML thing, it's not my thing. So let's just save it. If we refresh, nothing changes, and if we say Persian, everything is right to left. This ego here is not Persian, so let me just change that as well. Let's go to our index, and let me see, where was it? It's here, and we've already loaded the i18n tag, so I'm just gonna call it trans. I'm just gonna call it ego because I don't know what to call it. So let's just make messages in Persian. Let's change it to pish, and for the English we just write ego. So this would get fix یک ساعت 12 دقیقه پیش, and for the English it's just 1 hour 12 minutes ago. And that should be it for my final notes. I do have some notes. If you don't want this, just want your default to be your default domain or localhost 8000, just blank. If you don't want to have this /en on your default language code, you can do just come to your project URLs, and inside of your URL patterns just write down prefix default language and set it to false. What this will do, if you go to the just this, as you can see, it's English, but the Persian is there. So as you can see, but if we type en, it would return an error. So how does this work? It's from, let's just go back to our settings, and in here our language code, which stands for our default website language, is set to English. So if we make the prefix default language in our project URL false, it would just redirect you to our raw domain name. So that's it. And another note that I'm giving to you is, if you wanna use a Rosetta on your production website, oops, we have to delete this en because we don't use that. If you want to use Django Rosetta on your production website, which I'm not recommending it, just do every translation on your on development and on production, just make everything right. If you want to access Rosetta on production, you have to give the local files permission. They do not need to be in your project folder because we are specifying the local path inside our settings. You can just do, if you are on Linux server, I don't know, /home/username/ I don't know, media. And another thing, what permissions you have to give. Act like the local file is just like your media files. You have to give the same exact permissions that you give for your media files in order to change them from a client's phone or client browser, because we are actually changing the .po file, and everything that is going to change needs a permission, and that can be dangerous as well. So I'm not recommending it, but I'm just giving you a note. You have to give just the same permissions as the media file to your local file. Actually, I need to give you more information on how to modify our admin panel using the translatable model. So let's see, we are going to inherit from another class instead of admin itself. Let's just call it our admin panel. Originally it would inherit from admin.modeladmin, and in this case, since we are using translatable admin, we have to change it to literally the translatable admin instead of doing this. So if you wanna change stuff on your admin panel, like adding search fields and inlines or such, that I'm just gonna show you search fields. Let's just add search fields and how you are going to call your posts throughout the translations. And how do you do the topic for it? I'm just gonna make the search field to search for the term that is inside topic or title or even the content. So title and the content are pretty straightforward, because if you go into our models, we have to just need to call them from translation, title and content. But for our category, which is inside the ForeignKey, how do we do it? We have to say category double underscore. From category we are pointing to translations again double underscore. Name, because from translation we are pointing to name, and from here let's just do icon contains, and that's it. If we write anything in our search fields, it will search inside of our category. Let's add another one as well for our post title, since we are referring to our post and it has nothing more, we just gonna say translations double underscore title double underscore I contains. Let's just do the same thing, content as well. So let me just, translation underscore underscore content. So that should be it. And instead of using translatable admin here, we use our admin panel. So let's just rerun our server, no errors, that's good. Let's go to our admin. In here, post, as you can see, we have a search bar. Let me search some part of my topic in Persian, and if you search, as you can see, I meant to write siyasi. I just wrote 3 letters of it. So if I go here and in Persian, actually I have to, it's not gonna show because we are in English admin panel. If we go to Farsi admin panel, yep, that's there. That's literally there. So that's how you are gonna filter out your queries, and this method is going to work if you are using the queue method in your filters as well. So another topic that I wanted to cover about is how do we translate flash messages in Django. I know you could just pass in the gettext inside of it and then translate it from Rosetta, but if we are gonna deal with variables and put variables inside of our flash messages, the things will go different. So let me just demonstrate to you what I mean. So let me create a simplest flash messages in a Django project, like very simple. Just when we open our index.html, our home page, a flash message would pop up. So let me first import the flash message, the messages from Django. We say from django.contrib import messages. And what I'm gonna do is when the user is not logged in, it would flash a message that you are not logged in. And if the user is logged in, it would again flash a message, but this time it would write our username as well, like hello username, how are you doing, something like that. So let me just do it right here. We say if request.user.is underscore authenticated, we say messages.success, passing the request, and I'm gonna not now. Let's just do a simple flash message like hi, welcome, something like that. And let's add some extra tags for bootstrapped styling. Alert dash success. I think those are the right tags for the bootstrap. And if the user is not authenticated, we say messages.warning request, you are not authenticated. And we add extra tags of alert dash danger, something like that. I think, oh, actually in our template we have to call the messages as well. So let's go back to our index.html. Just above the hero title, let's check if messages, that means if a message exists. Let me just end if this, and if a message exists, we are going to make a list, and in here let's just give it a class of message. And inside of that we are gonna loop through our messages. We say for message in messages, let's end for this, and we are going to create a list, and inside of that we are since we are using extra tags, I'm gonna call the tags as well. We say message.tags, and actually I have to put it inside here. And if messages.tag, let's end if this, and if, so it will check if we did any extra tags on our message, which we did. And if there is any extra tags, we are gonna just call those tags. We say message.tags, and we've done the info, and I think we are good. So let me change this to messages. I think everything should work now. Let's just run our server and test this out. We say localhost 8000. It popped up a message, which is good, but there is nothing inside of it. Let me see. Oh, I did not call the message itself, so we should be good now. Yep, it says hi, welcome, and if I log out and go back, it will say you are not authenticated. So that's the basic flash message that we are getting. Let's get back to our views and let's translate these messages. So in the hi welcome one, let me just put it inside our gettext, and we have not imported gettext here. We say from Django .utils.translations import gettext underscore lazy, and we assign a shortcut for it. In here I'm gonna say auth message, and let's do the same thing here, and I would say anon message, which stands for anonymous. I think that's a good variable to assign. Let me just give it some spacings, and let's make all of these messages. So Django-admin make messages -all, and let's log in again, and if we go to /rosetta, we should have our message tags here. So auth message, we say hi welcome, and in here you are not logged in. We save those. Let's get back to the Persian as do the exact same thing. We say salam, خوش آمدید, and here شما وارد نشده اید, and we save those. And if I go to /fa, it would give us the Persian message, and /en, actually we did this, and on the English version it would say hi welcome. So I want to make let's actually, before doing that, go to our admin panel. In the users section, let's write my name Amin and last name Osali, and save those. Let's see, where is the save button? It's all the way down here. So I wanna say hello, hi, first name, last name, welcome. I wanna do something like that, but you might say, okay, we just put an f string here, and in here we just specify our stuff. But this is not going to work. F strings would not work in Flash messages in Django. So what actually we do here, we remove the f string, and inside here we just do two brackets like this. And what do we do after it? We can assign a variable inside of the bracket, so we can format it later, like, but I'm just gonna leave it blank. So if we leave it blank, we just normally say .format, and here since we have not assigned any variables inside of this, I could just easily say request.user.firstName, and this would work. If we refresh, it says auth message, and our first name pops here. So since we changed it, we have to make messages again and go back to Rosetta, and in here we have this. So how do we, let me go to the English version. So how do we change it here? It says fuzzy, we untick this, we say hi welcome, and put the brackets just like that. If we save it and refresh it, everything works perfectly. Hi welcome Amin. And I want to show the last name as well. So what I said earlier, I'm just gonna do it. Let me just assign a variable here, not Amin. We say first, that stands for first name, and we do another one, last, and that stands for last name. And in here we have to assign first equals to this, and last equals to request.user.lastName. And this first and last are just similar to what we assigned here. So let's make messages as well. Refresh our Rosetta, and as you can see, it marked. When we are assigning variable, Rosetta will understand and mark them. So we say hi welcome first and do hi welcome first. Inside the second bracket we say last, and if we save it and refresh, it say hi welcome Amin Osali. So that's how we translate our Flash messages in Django. Let me just do the Persian version of it as there. Salam. We do curly bracket like that. I think where these are Persian curly bracket, I have to do it in English, and I say first here. It's a bit weird when combining Persian and English together, and we say last here. So if we save it and go to the Persian version, Salam Amin Osali, Khosh Amadid. So you get the idea. That's how we translate our Flash messages in Django. And for the last topic that I want to cover in this video is how can we just change our language from the website itself. Like, let me open a private window and go to google.com. And as you can see, the language is in German now, but in here it says I can change it to English, and when we hit that, it would change itself to English. So I can do the same thing again, and it's made its language back to German. So I'm going to implement this to our website and show you how does this work. So let's just do things somewhat stylish here. I'm gonna, add some drop down here, and when we hit it, it would show our languages and we would select from them. So let's get back to our code. Let me minimize all of this. We should go to our navbar, and inside of navbar just write after our last nav item, which is features here. Let's create a div and assign it a class of drop down, and me dash auto, so I want it to be in the middle. I don't know if it works, but we will see. So I'm just gonna assign some variables to another my own variables. So when you are activating i18n in your website, you can get some tags inside your template. So what I'm gonna do here, just let's do that, and I'm just gonna say get current language, and I'm just gonna assign it as capital current language. And this is the first variable that I wanted to assign, and another one we say get available languages, and I'm just gonna assign it as available languages. And for the last one, let's say get language info list, and we are going to refer it to our just assigned available languages variable, and from that let me just assign it. We say for available languages, and we make a variable for it called languages. Let's just say that. And what we are going to do here, let's create a button. Let's say button and give it a class of btn. Btn is a bootstrap class, and drop down dash toggle, and type is button, and for data dash bs dash toggle, we give it the name of drop down, and we set area dash expanded equals to false. So this should be our drop down button, and I'm just gonna call it let's say change. Let me just do it the proper page, change language. let me just show how it's gonna look. And it's not gonna work because we have not implemented the drop down menu, but it's gonna look like this. Let's get back, and beneath our button, let's do a UL tag and give it a class of drop down dash menu. And inside of this, I wanna loop through my languages variable. So we say for language in languages, let's just do end for. In here, let's create a list, and we don't need any tags. So let's do an anchor tag and stuff, and inside of it we are going to assign a drop down dash item class, and let's close it. And inside of that we are going to say language dot name underscore local. So let's refresh this, and as you can see, it says English, and this second one is Farsi. We haven't set the href yet, so let's just do our href tag. So in here we say href, and we just assign language dot code. I think that's how is supposed to go. So if we go to, it will go to /en. I will provide a solution right now, but if we go to that, it would change our language back to Persian. So, and that is going to be a problem. I'm going to fix it. Let's just get back to the English version. So if inside of our project URLs, as I said before, if we set this prefix default language to true, this would not be a problem. So it would go to just /en, and this would go to just /var as it is. But my solution to this, let's get back to our navbar.html. Inside of our href tag, I'm going to create an if statement, and I say if language.code double equals to en. Let me close it by typing end if, and if language code double equals to en, we are going to just redirect ourselves into the default prefix, just localhost 8000 or whatever domain you have. Else, I'm going to do a else tag as well. If the language code is not English and we have prefix default language false in our project URLs, we are going to do just /language.code, and that would be it. Let me just add another slash here, and right now if I refresh and go to English, everything works perfect. We are in our default domain, and if I go to Persian, it will go to the Persian version, and vice versa as well. So that is the solution to it. But this is good, but it kind of looks ugly. I wanna, let's say our language is in English, and I wanna highlight this English to set it as active. So how do I do that? In Bootstrap way, right here where we have our class dropdown item, I wanna say whatever the current language is, make it active and highlight it. So it's not that hard. We are just going to do another if statement and say if language dot code double equals to current language, the variable that we made. And if that's the case, I wanna give the class of active. Active is a Bootstrap class, and let's do end if, and that should be it. So if I refresh, as you can see, English is active, and if I go to Persian version, it says Farsi. And that's it. That's all of I think I covered everything. So thank you for watching. This was my actually first video. I know English is not my native language, so if I had any stutters that were annoying, I apologize to you. And I'm not just gonna upload Django tutorials on my channel. My main language is Python, and I might do other programming language as well. I'm gonna upload variety stuff in Python, such as Pygame, machine learning, and stuff like that. But for now, I think I'm gonna stick with Django, because this is what I'm focusing right now. Django is what I'm focusing right now, and because of that, I'm gonna stick to Django for a bit, and after that I'll do variety of stuff. I might do a full Django course on my channel as well, which is going to take a while. And after that I might upload Pygame stuff, and after that we'll see what happens. So thank you for watching. If you like this video, please leave a like, comment if you have any questions, and don't forget to subscribe.